Hi, guys. Welcome to Driven Purpose Outdoors. We're going to bring to you a new series that we created this year called Beginning to End. And how we got this is we had some cameras that we put out this year, and we're going to talk more about that. But we got a lot of interest on a couple hunting pages on Pennsylvania websites about what our data saw on these cameras and everything. So we figured, why not bring to you a little series of us from the start to the end of our season, and it all started last year. So in this series, you're going to see us talk about hill country, farmland, property that we own, property that we hunt, and what we're doing on our properties throughout the year to prepare for the season, but also to hopefully be successful in what we do. So it's amazing what we found this year, and we're just going to try to bring to you in part one right now what we did, why we did it, and what we saw so far right now.
All right, like Brad said, we let cameras. We had cameras placed out last year. Then too, we had 23 of them set up. Those cameras are based on what we found the year before, whether it was through scouting or just on stand sites. Half of those cameras were out there the entire year. Half of the other ones were picked up when we went out to our spot then too. So we just had less intrusion throughout the woods and everything too. So we grabbed those cameras when we were hunting those spots then too. So like Brad was saying, 23 cameras, and that's the most we've ever had on the property. I think years before we might have had just a couple here and there, just to see what we were finding and all that. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see what we found.
It is credit to Aaron, because Aaron did a lot of the scouting. Him and Brian did. Again, this is the easiest way that we could all three get together is FaceTime. So this is what we had to do. But with between them scouting and marking things and us going in and going out throughout the winter, we just came up with areas that we looked at. So we did anything from mock scrapes to travel corridors to bedding that we found. And Brian has gotten Brian's very good, and he's going to talk to you about that, is just the finding beds now and what to look for. And we've all gotten pretty good at that. And that's really been a cool thing in the last year that we've learned from podcasts and watching people and listening to people. So Brian's going to talk to you a little bit about the cameras, because he's the one that has gone through all 23 of them so far. So go ahead, Brian.
So yeah, I've gone through all the cameras we had out, and it's just crazy on the movement that each one has picked up. I mean, growing up, our mindsets were always that early season was just certain windows of the day you were going to see a deer, but like these cameras are showing us that bucks are checking scrapes first week of October in the mornings. I think October 14th on a lot of the cameras, like a prime day, it showed that bucks were on their feet mornings, evenings, middays. They're moving from one bed to another on wind shifts. I mean, it's just a lot of it is picking up these movement patterns in their bedding areas, and a lot of the cameras we placed were close to bedding, and they're so comfortable in those areas that they will move any time of the day, they're showing. So even into January, like times when you think you should only hunt the evening, the last hour of light, but like we were picking up mature bucks at 2 o'clock in the afternoon checking a scrape, and that's just been unheard of to us. But
that's the one thing that blew our mind, Brian, is that we talked about, is the amount of daylight activity that these cameras picked up.
Yeah.
Like Brian's saying, we grew up hunting just like everybody else, morning to 10:30, 11, coming in, and then going back out from 3 to dark. Well, from October 1st to February 4th, we're seeing bucks hitting scrapes at 1:30 in the afternoon on February 4th. Meanwhile, like our biggest thing is, and I think there's a lot of people, where do you get the motivation at January 23rd in late season in PA to go sit a stand at 1:30 in the afternoon? You know what I mean?
Go out at noon to sit till dark,
yeah,
and just wait for that opportunity.
And in hill country, you can't go in and out. You know what I mean? You kind of got to stay all day because you're going through so much area to get back to camp. So you would be pulling all day sits on January 24th. But like we never did it because we never thought we had to. And that's one thing that these cameras are showing us is what we need to start doing. Like, and if it takes us going around the mountain to get back to a spot and backdoor them, we now know that that's what we might have to do. So it's definitely going to change our game plan going into the next year by seeing all the data and collecting all the data from all the daylight movement. And we're not talking year and a half. We're talking 4.5-year-old bucks that are good, great Pennsylvania deer, mountain deer. And hopefully we can put some pieces of the puzzle together, execute it, and bring it to you in part 2. So thank you guys for tuning in. We hope this helped. And we will be bringing part 2 to you here in a couple weeks when we go through the data more and start lining up some pieces of the puzzle. So thank you guys, and check us out on YouTube, Driven Purpose Outdoors. Subscribe, like us, and check out our Facebook page and some of the videos we post. So God bless and have a great day. And we're driven to share God's purpose.